I'm here at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, and with me is Yair Levi. And Yair is a very well-known musician from Israel, from the Levite tribe, correct? Yair, thank you for being here. It's so interesting for you to be here in Nashville because Nashville is such a musical city. I used to live here for 10 years, and music is in the blood here. But many people might not know that someone like yourself with the type of music that you sing would be involved perhaps in the Christian music industry. Tell me a little bit about why you're in Nashville and what you're doing right now.
So the story started when I released a song for my grandma in Hebrew. And I'm a regular Israeli person. And suddenly I saw a lot of people doing like this and singing my song. And I asked myself, like, who are those people? Because in Israel, we don't have a lot of Christian in the Christian community. And it started for me a journey to work with very amazing singers and famous singers in the Christian market and writers, and I just realized that there are such an amazing people that I never met, that are their heart for Israel is so wow. Like I couldn't believe that. I was even a little bit ashamed. I said, like, how didn't know. So today I'm trying to be kind of a bridge. Like when I'm coming to communities in the US or in Europe, I'm sharing about Israel. Although it's not like I'm just doing my music and I'm Israeli, so of course I'm sharing about some stuff from my life. But when I come back to Israel also, I'm trying to be a bridge for the Christian communities to tell the beautiful story of the support and people that are praying. So that's what I'm doing. My new song called Sabbath. I came to a room with Ryan Hall that wrote a couple of very famous hymns, and he told me that he wanted to write a song on Sabbath. I told him, "Are you Jewish? Like, what is going on?" And he said, "No." But it was a lesson for me. It was a kind of a study process with him to explain to me what is Sabbath for him and what is Sabbath for me. And we came out with this song that got a lot of great response and playlisting, and it just came out a couple of days ago. Wow. And I'm super excited about it. Yeah.
It's so interesting, Yair, because at Real America's Voice, we actually just started our own sister network called Real America's Music, and we're trying to push a lot of music that is non-woke, shall we say, music that promotes values and ideals and the American spirit, of course. And I think it's interesting because music runs through lifeblood of both Jews and Christians, and I think it's interesting you're bridging that gap. I can only think of, and this is probably my lack of knowledge on this, when I think of musicians from Israel who've been popular in the United States. I think of Yahu, obviously, for instance. How did your music become so well known in the United States in order to enable you to come here and tour?
I think it's God. I can't explain it because it started in Hebrew, that it doesn't make sense. But now I do a lot of stuff in English also. Sabbath is song in English. I really don't know. But I can say that I do see that people are thirsty have so much willing to go deeper with their faith through with the Hebrewness of the Bible. Let's call it like this. It's not about Israel. I'm not representing the government or whatever. I just can bring to
the
people
biblical component of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A different layer that people are looking for, especially young people that saying to themselves, wait a second, like there are more layers. I want to go deeper. I want to know because one of the things that I learned, my process in this journey, was to learn to know the people, that there are such humble communities, such a good people that have a real faith. So of course we disagree about some stuff, but 99% of the things we have in common. A lot of Christian people know Psalms better than me and can teach me a lot. So, yeah.
I'm going to sing something for you. You're not going to be expecting this, but because I'm a musician, you tell me how I do, okay? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pori hagafen. No, you do it. I want to hear you do it.
Baruch atah Hashem Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pori hagafen.
Now, the reason why I know to do that is because I played Yeshua in a movie where I had to recite and sing some of this stuff. And that's why I think this tie is so interesting, because as a Christian, there is a thirst, I think, to understand the roots of the religion, which of course are rooted in Judaism and the Bible and the old scriptural text. So those are the things that I learned, I think, in playing this role and understanding, of course, Jesus being a Jewish man. So a lot of people, I think a lot of Christians maybe don't necessarily always make that connection. Something that people might not also know about you, in addition to being a very well-known musician, is that you were also in the IDF.
I was.
You were,
like,
right? Correct. You were in the IDF.
Yeah, every person in Israel, when you're 18, you need to go.
Right.
I don't know how it's happened, because I wanted always to be a musician. I passed the test to the Israeli Navy SEAL, and I became a captain also, and I left when I was major. So I've been there for 8 years, eventually, till I said to myself, it's your last minute to fulfill your dream to be a musician.
Yeah.
And I decided to quit and to come back to my previous dream to be a musician. Unfortunately, in Israel, we have such a small army, so I needed to also to fight in Gaza after October 7th.
What was that like?
Hard, especially when you have family. It's a different thing when you're 18 or when you're. I was 35. It was hard. A lot of questions and a lot of prayers that eventually we will do exactly what we need to do, and won't make any mistake that can risk my team. I was a captain. I was a commander, or the life of people that we don't want to hurt any innocent person. So it's so hard, a lot of prayers, and I lost some friends. But at the end of the day, I think one of the things that I want to bring to people is to tell them that the Israeli IDF monster, it's this, like it's people that sing or engineers that just needed to protect their houses, their home.
I remember back, I believe it was a September or two ago, we were interviewing the cousin of Omer Nutra, and his family obviously was hoping that he was still alive, and unfortunately we learned after that he had already passed on October 7th. I think about those families, I think for those of us who are in America who live in a relative peace, who don't usually have to worry about our loved ones being killed on a particular day. And I thought about that and the hope that they had that probably was dashed away as soon as they found out that Omer had passed on October 7th. And I, as a tribute to him at that time, I sang a great song from Les Miserables called Bring Him Home, because I think of the Bring Them Home Now campaign. What has been your reaction since seeing a lot of the hostages be brought home? I think they're all home now, I believe, for the most part. Yeah. Sad, of course, for those that didn't make it. What have you noticed since that time? What's your feeling on that?
Unfortunately, I was very involved even before October 7th. I made a song with family of Adar Goldin that he kidnapped 10 years ago, maybe more. And they just reached out to me to help them to kind of push a little bit on the government and we made like such a heartbreaking video with his mom in the house. And I remember like some of my songs went to the radio in Israel, and I remember myself sending this song. First of all, I told them like most of my audience right now in the US, let's try to find another singer. I reached out to some friend, and everyone said like, listen, it's too sad. And we sent it to the radio, to newspapers, and they all said like, no, it's a summer. We don't want to put it in the... And I remember that a couple of months before October 7th, there was the memorial, because they knew that he died. They just waited for his body. So I went to the memorial of him and his father, Simcha. It was a kind of a prophecy moment. He said, if we will forget about these 3 kids, we're going to have 200 people that will be kidnapped. 3 months later, October 7th, 200 and something. And I remember this moment as a wake-up moment for me to understand that it's we forgot about them, and we're not allowed to forget anymore. And I'm not talking only about the people of Israel. The fact that you let those people hold your people and not bring them back, and you keep make relations with them, it was brought a harder attack, and then it could bring another attack.
Right.
I'm praying that not, but for me it was a very it opened my eyes. Although I've been there, but
Well, I think about also, of course, what happened on October 7th and what continues to happen in terms of persecution of Jews in Israel and abroad. Obviously, one of our own got taken, Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And that's something we couldn't have necessarily expected. I would say that Charlie probably thought it potentially could happen even. But then I learned from an associate of yours that you have a song called Freedom. And it's so interesting that freedom word was emblazoned across his shirt. Tell me about that song and how it potentially can reach people who still mourn the loss of Charlie.
So I wrote this song before, also Sabbath, by the way, connected to Charlie. But both of those songs I wrote before. I found myself really connected to his messages. After it's happened for me, by the way, it was very hard because I feel it's very connected to what we said before about the evil is getting, it's growing when you don't stop it at time. And I think the song Freedom, the message is that we have a saying in Hebrew that Mitzrayim, Egypt, Mitzrayim, it's Egypt. It's the same. It comes from the same word as a narrow place, Tsar. It means that when you want to escape from Egypt, when the people of Israel left Egypt, the hardest part was to take out Egypt from you. Because at the end of the day, even if you feel that you move or you move to a better place or you, I don't know, won in the war, if you're not free here, you will never be free.
Right.
And I think this is was part of the what Charlie Kirk also tried to do, is to speak with people and to tell them it's not enough for you to say I'm a believer. The question is what you have here. Does it make you do something? If it's make you do something with it, it's a good sign. If you just say I will pray for it, it's good. But
not enough.
But not enough. That's what he tried. This was, I think, his legacy, and this is what I try to. This is part of the message that I try to say in the song Freedom.
Music, for me, and I know that it is for you, is transformational. It's transcendental. It's cathartic, I think, for anyone that sings or plays music. But it's also a collective experience as well. Jordan Peterson, I believe, has described it as almost religious in that respect, that this relationship between performer and audience is completely synchronized. And there's nothing, I don't think, that can be equated to that other than perhaps a religious experience, which is great because that shows that you're getting close to God, I think. How do you want people who listen to your music to feel? Do you want it to inspire them, to uplift them, to remind them also of the harsh realities of what's going on? What do you want them to feel?
I think that there is only one thing, maybe a couple of more, but music is one of the things that can connect people. And what I'm trying to do in my events and when I release music is to remember my forefathers. That, as you said, I'm from the tribe of the Levites. I'm a Levi. So it means that at the beginning it was kind of, why do I need to sing to the nation? And then I realized that the Levites used to sing to the nations. Because it was a house of prayer for all nations, right? So I just keep doing what my forefathers did. And what I also realized is that the Levites, there wasn't like a superstars. They were coming and encouraging people to sing. That's what the Levites used to do. So my events start with me singing and people joining me and singing with me. And I'm trying not to push too much and let people sing with me, like as a common choir, kind of a rehearsal for the real thing, that we're praying that will come, that will pray and worship in Hebrew in Jerusalem, God willing, tomorrow. Joining me?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
okay.
I think it's so interesting because my last name is Davidson, so son of David. You think back to the Psalms,
Oh,
and then
okay.
in church just last week we talked about Psalm 67, which talks about the blessings, unique blessings God gives us. And I had written a song in 2012 called "Blessed." So you see, this is interesting because once you
Okay.
find your lineage and where it goes, it's not a surprise, I suppose, that you find your calling, but it connects you to that ancestry. So what you're saying makes perfect sense, that you feel a calling to do it, not just by God, but it's in your blood.
We have to be honest. Probably what you agree with me. That a lot of time you understand it later, right?
Yes, it takes time to.
Yeah.
But then you do it, and you don't know why you're doing it, and then later in life it makes sense to you, which I think is part of the calling that we have. Well, Yair, it's been so inspirational to talk to you for many, many different reasons, but I want to make sure that our viewers, especially those on Real America's Music, can find you. Give us all of the handles and social ways to reach you and listen to your music.
So it's Yair Levi Music, YAIR LVEI, and music, and it's in all platforms. And I'm very active on social media, also on Instagram and everywhere. So
What will be the next release? Will it be Sabbath? Is that going to be the next release?
Sabbath we released, and the next release we're going to be. It's called Miracles.
Miracles.
Okay.
That's fantastic. I hear we're breaking it right here. Miracles. Yair, thank you. And when will that be out, do you think?
Very soon.
Very soon,
yeah.
in the coming weeks, hopefully?
Maybe a month or something. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we look forward to catching up with you then. So, Yair Levi, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you very much.